Remember, even though I got my autosave set up in preferences, backing me up every 5 minutes, I still, anytime I make any major changes, I should probably do a file save as, and I should update my version number of my projects because it's so important to make sure you're manually saving as well because if you're not, you lose stuff. Program glitches, freezes, you're going to have to shut it down and restart the computer. And if you have various versions that you've saved plus your autosave, you might be able to save yourself a lot of grief of having to redo a bunch of work. All right, let's start doing some more animation. There's a layer called sun. And again, we'll solo it, so when we look at it, it's nothing special. Basically just a soft orange blob that sitting up in the top corner of the screen. But, the illusion is good enough. Of course, as that room goes from dark to light, well, that sun position hopefully would change, because that, as we call in film and TV lighting, that's the motivating light source. So if that's the case, then we need to move that sun around to be the motivators. So let's do that. So again, what we'll do is we'll begin by looking at the properties that are in that sun layer. So we'll expand that and expand that. And we can see transform. So we got anchor point, position, scale, rotation, and opacity. Those are the DNA of every layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to start kind of playing around with some of these things to create that illusion. So first off, we'll take our playhead out to 407. And at 407, we're going to start creating some keyframes to help us create this illusion, if you will. We're going to use the current values at 407 for two of these properties and drop a keyframe for these properties. So we're going to drop keyframe for position, keyframe for scale, and a keyframe for opacity. So basically you got three keyframes, one on top of each other, and each one of those keyframes is currently using these values that are the default values. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go backwards. We're going to work backwards. We're going to go to 313, and at 313 we'll start making some changes to some of these properties. First off, we're going to go to scale, which we have a keyframe for at 407 for 100%. And what we'll do is we'll change that now to 33%. And because there's a little lock there, both values, X and Y, will change. And you can see a keyframe now appears and it has those new properties. And while still at 313, we'll go to our opacity, which is 100%. And we'll just basically reduce that to 10%. And you can see there's a keyframe. So now what's happening is when you move between here, it looks like the sun is rising, right? And again, it's just the illusion between the opacity and the scale, which is making the sun grow larger, and it appears to kind of be coming up over the horizon, and it gives you that idea. Now, to complete this, what we're going to do is we're going to take our playhead and we're going to go all the way to the final frame, which is 929 because it is drop frame timecode. And now what we're going to do is we're going to modify these properties to, again, create that illusion of a sun rising in the sky. What we're going to do first off is the position. The first value is X. We're going to go to the second value, which is the Y. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag it to the left. And you can see how the sun appears to be rising in the sky. So we're going to drag that to about 18, or you can just enter that value 18. So you can see that that is making the sun appear to rise in the sky. And also, while we're there, we're going to go to those scale values one more time, and we'll boost that up to 150, which would really kind of blast up the appearance of the sun. So now when you take your playhead and you drag it through here, voila, sun appears to rise as the room's getting lighter, rises, comes over the horizon and starts to rise in the sky. And of course, as it rises in the sky, it gets brighter to simulate that illusion. And all done with something that really, kind of appears to be not much more than a blob on a layer. But when blended with all these other layers, it's a pretty damn good illusion.